After a year of changes to my business and personal life, it's time to hit 2025 running. To that end, I did a thing I've only done a handful of times, which is to sit for a professional headshot. Let me tell you about it. In between photographing weddings, I do my share of headshots too. I've done a number for local universities and several local businesses and a few other organizations. I don't know that the headshots I produce are setting the world on fire, but they are clean and well lit, and I like to think well posed. Typically, the people that come to me aren't as interested in the standard head and shoulders type of headshot, but are instead looking for something a little more creative. Something with context that shows them in their environment. Think an attorney in their office in front of their law books, or a business owner leaning on a sign with their business name, or a visual artist with their art. Headshots of photographers are a mixed bag. We're often behind the camera for a reason. I know my share of photographers who are happy to be in front of the camera, but I've never really counted myself among them, which is kind of ironic considering I came up in an era where the old school sit at a table with one arm crossed in front of you with the other elbow propped up holding a camera style was going out of vogue. I looked through my archives to see what I used for myself when I was starting my business and wasn't able to find anything, but I do have others that I've subsequently used. And looking through them, I found that all but two, including my most recent one, were made during events or workshops or something more casual compared to sessions where I've specifically had a professional photographer photograph me. I don't know that this one counts, but it was the first time I sat for a professional photographer when I was a senior in high school. It's the quintessential boys' 80s yearbook photo, although it wasn't so 80s where there were laser beams in the background. If you know, you know. The first time I saw a photo of myself that I liked after I had started my business was this one. It was taken during an off-camera lighting workshop in Boston where we were practicing balancing flash with the sun. I really liked the way it came out, so I used it for a while. Plus, there's a little eye of the tiger in there. Then I used this one, which was taken during a party at a photographer's studio when the now-departed Photo Plus Expo was in New York. It was taken on an iPhone, and I really liked how the whole thing came together, so I used it for a time. Another time I was visiting a local friend's studio, and she was testing out some lights, and she took this photo of me. I liked the way I looked, so this was the next one I used. A couple of years later, I wanted a for-real headshot, so I hired her to take a series of portraits from me, and this was the next one I used for several years. As you age, you start to look differently, so I've been thinking about replacing that most recent one. This past summer, I had the opportunity to photograph a red carpet gala where dressing up for the event was the appropriate way to go. I had a friend manning the step and repeat as guests entered the venue while I photographed the attendees inside. In testing the lights and generally goofing around before everything started, he took this one of me, which I thought represented me well, and I've been using it for the past few months. 2024 was a good year for me. I'd begun seeing an amazing woman. I started this YouTube channel. A friend of mine and I started a film photography meetup for local photographers interested in such things. I did an off-camera lighting workshop with another friend, and I'm just feeling more comfortable in my own skin. I've begun planning new marketing endeavors and an update to my online presence, and also, if I'm being honest, I lost a little weight, so I thought the time had come for another for-real headshot session. I have a friend who takes really good portraits of men, and asked her if she would take on the challenge of making me look good. Because I know her through her husband, whom I've been friends with for years, there was already rapport and comfort level with being around her. She kept it low-key and gave me easy-to-follow directions on how to pose, and I couldn't believe what I was seeing when she turned the camera around to show me a couple of frames. And that right there is the challenge we photographers face, which is making our subjects comfortable enough to let their guard down so their personality comes through in the photographs. This is something I endeavor to do whenever someone is in front of my camera, particularly at weddings, which are the lion's share of what I photograph. The standard head and shoulders headshot is fine, and appropriate in many situations. Though if we're being honest with one another, and I think we know each other well enough by now, they're a bit generic. I've done my share of that kind of thing, and people do ask for it. And when they do, I do my best within that framework. But rarely does someone's personality come through using that style. Sometimes looking into the camera with a nice smile and a clean backdrop is the way to go. The quintessential realtor's photo, if you will. I'm pretty sure you all have a picture of what that looks like in your head. It's a style that works well on business cards and flyers and bus stop benches. I'm not here to say that's a bad thing, and again, it's something I've done myself, but it is commonplace. What I wanted for myself, though, was something where, if someone who didn't know me was looking at the photo, they might have an idea of who I am. A headshot alone isn't your branding any more than your logo alone is your branding, but how you present yourself in the context of running a business is how people are going to perceive you. Finding the right photographer to bring that out, if that's the style and vibe you're after, couldn't be more important. I know a number of talented photographers, many of whom do headshots, so no offense, of course, to any of them for having chosen my friend Lyle to do my most recent one. But she had the aesthetic and tone of what I wanted in a headshot for myself at this time in my life. I hope my clients feel the way I felt when I looked at the gallery she delivered. She sprinkled some kind of magic pixie dust on everything and made me look, and more to the point, feel as good as I think I ever have in photographs. I couldn't be happier with the results. Being the subject of portraits isn't something I'm used to. I'm always aware that this is typically the case with the couples I photograph and the portraits I make. Having gone through this experience, it's a good reminder that photography isn't just knowing your camera settings or where to place the lights and modify them, though that is a material part of it. It's also, and more importantly, about creating a space where people are comfortable enough to give you something of themselves, which, if you're in tune to that and can draw that out of them, you're able to capture that in such a way where they see something in the photos and in themselves, qualities they might not have realized were there all along. What are your thoughts about the different styles of headshots and portraits that are available from any number of photographers out there? What, in your opinion, sets one apart from the other? Let me know what you think in the comments below. Thank you for watching. I appreciate your spending a few minutes with me. If you like this kind of video, please like and subscribe. If you'd like to see more videos like this, check out this other one I made for you. This is Ask a Wedding Photographer. I'm Seth K, and I'm here to help.